Hey guys, Dan with Philosophical Fishing. I'm pretty under the weather today. I'm feeling pretty sick. I came down with something a couple days ago, and my son is sick. So we were up at the ER with him last night. Thank God he's doing fine. Everything's okay. But it was a late night, and it was the end of the week on a Friday. So I'm pretty tired today and under the weather. You can probably hear it in my voice. I kind of sound like Trace Atkins, like a country singer. Well, you can probably hear it that I'm kind of stuffed up and I got a lot of chest congestion going on. But I was trying to make a video a few minutes ago and had my tripod out and my camera sitting on it, and I was just finding it really really hard to find the words that I wanted to say, and felt like I was really low energy and it was hard to talk. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to sit down on this beanbag chair right now and flip my camera on and start talking and see what happens, because I really value this channel and I really, really value you guys, and I really care about your journeys and what you guys are going through. Having gone through it myself, I know that some of you are struggling so hard right now, and it's such a tough thing to go through. I mean, that's an understatement of the year. It's the toughest thing I have ever gone through. And listen, I'll tell you this, having gone through what I just did with my dad passing away in January and everything that brought about, it was unexpected. There was so much trauma around it and so much to deal with so fast that I was not prepared for it. And how could I be? Nobody was. And after going through it, or I should say, while I was going through it, I was talking to my wife on the phone one night, and she asked me, with everything that you're dealing with your dad having just passed away, is this the hardest thing you've ever been through? And right away I said, no, it's not. It's not even close. I mean, it was horrendous. Don't get me wrong. Going down to Florida and being there, watching him pass really quickly, and the amount of suffering that he went through, it was brief, but it was very intense. And it still was not nearly as hard as what I went through coming off of benzos. It's just not even close. Benzo withdrawal is one of the hardest things I think a human being can possibly go through, for so many reasons. Just the amount of physical and mental suffering on its own is astronomical, coupled with the fact that nobody around you is going to understand or comprehend what's going on and how bad it is for you, or have any resources to turn to educate them on how to help you and to how to understand in any way what you're dealing with. There's just pretty much almost nothing out there aside from the Ashton Manual and other people who, are making videos on YouTube or writing about it or blogging about it. There's just not. And so you feel like you're off on this island by yourself, and it's lonely, it's scary. And how do you navigate through? How do you get through one day to the next? And how do you have any hope that you're going to be okay? It's like being sick with a terrible disease that almost nobody knows about and nobody understands, that came to you via a prescription from a doctor and is completely baffling to try to explain to somebody that hasn't gone through it. I mean, you just can't. How could you ever accurately really describe what benzodiazepine withdrawal is like, or a benzodiazepine taper? How can you, unless you've gone through it, there's no words to describe the physical hell that you go through. And so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about how what I just went through in January with my dad passing, how awful that was, and how it still was not nearly as bad as benzo withdrawal. And so I know what you guys are going through. I know what you guys have been through, and I know that it's also completely possible to come out the other side. And that is my whole purpose for this channel. As soon as I started it, I wanted people to know that, as bad off as you might be, you can come out the other side and you can heal from it. And I want everybody to take that and know that from me and from other people who have been through it too. And I was bad off. I was really, really bad off. I was taking 5 milligrams plus Klonopin per day, plus 16 milligrams of Suboxone, Pristiq, Vyvanse, propranolol, and Lamictal, which is prescribed for bipolar disorder. At least that's what it was prescribed to for me for. And I came off of all of those, except for the propranolol, simultaneously in a rapid 9-day taper at a treatment center, and completely lost my mind. I went through psychosis. My body was wrecked. I couldn't even walk down the hall without holding onto a handle to prop myself up. I was getting tunnel vision. It was getting dark around my periphery, and I felt like I was going to pass out and lose consciousness all times during the day. I couldn't eat. I couldn't get down to the cafeteria to put food in my body. I was completely wrecked. My body hurt. When I went to go try to take a shower, it felt like pins and needles were shooting out of the shower head and hitting me. I couldn't get comfortable. The anxiety that I was feeling was indescribable. I was shaking. I was sweating through 4 to 5 t-shirts a day, and I couldn't sit there and just be. I had to keep moving my body. I couldn't sit still. And it was total hell on earth. It was just hell on earth. I was locked in this treatment facility, which was a pretty small place, with 150 other people running around and going crazy. It was loud. It was commotion all times of the day and night. And all I wanted was to get out of there and get somewhere quiet where I could have some peace. And I was trapped. I was completely trapped. There was nothing that I could do. I couldn't get more benzos. I couldn't get out of that place. They had me locked in there. I didn't have a car. I couldn't even have driven if I wanted to. And I had no choice but to go through it. And so when I tell you that I am so grateful for my healing, and I am so grateful for what I have today, I'll tell you this. I remember standing in line after a few weeks of being in that place, and I was almost still completely, I was just coming out of the psychosis, and I was having so much trouble just even putting reality together. And I remember I was standing in this cafeteria line waiting to go up and get my food. And there was a guy standing in front of me who was a heroin addict, IV drug user. And he obviously had been injecting into the back of his legs, and I could see the infection and the wounds on the back of his calves. And I stared at it for a while, and it made me sick. It made me physically nauseous. And as I stood there looking at him, I remember just feeling so much compassion for him and what he must have gone through and the way he must have felt about himself to be able to do something like that to his own body and just killing himself slowly with drugs. And for some reason, I just remember thinking that if I ever get out of this place, if I ever get out of this rehab and I go back to trying to live a normal life, and I get healthy and I get well again, I am going to try to do everything in my life that I was too scared or too timid to do before coming off of benzos. All the things that I used to take benzos for to deal with anxiety that scared me in life, and I've always felt kind of like shoved to the back of a closet because I had anxiety that would hold me back, and I had self-doubt that would hold me back. My whole life, I was run by fear and anxiety and self-doubt and lack of confidence. And that's why when I found benzos, I feel like I finally found something that worked for me. And it was like a miracle drug right off the bat. And I loved it. I knew that benzos were the thing that were going to help me succeed at the things that I wanted to do, because it got me over that hump of fear that I could actually get to the other side and pursue the things that I wanted to do. And as I stood in that drug rehab, I knew that if I ever got out of there and I got healthy, I was going to do the things that I was always too scared to do and push myself into uncomfortable situations, come hell or high water, whatever it cost. And I was going to do it benzo-free, and I was going to do it sober and drug-free. No alcohol, no prescription drugs, no benzos for sure, nothing. And I just wanted to put myself out there as much as I could to try to live my life for whatever I had left, as many years as I had left in front of me, I wanted to make the most of, and I promised myself that I would do that. And I can tell you, 7 years off of benzos now, that I have done a lot of those things. Many of the things that I was too afraid to do, I have now done benzo free. It's been scary and it's been hard, and I feel all the emotions of it, and I feel all the anxiety of it every time I do it. But I know that I'm putting one foot in front of the other, and I know that I'm doing it without the use of benzodiazepines, for God's sakes, and I'm never going back to benzos ever again. That goes without saying. That's never going to happen again. And I tell you all this, not to like say how great I am, or, accomplishments that I've been able to have. I say that because we're all capable of that. You have the same power and strength inside of you that I do, and I have the same power and strength that you do. We're all capable of doing so much, and we're capable of getting past benzos, healing from benzos, getting to the other side, and being able to create a beautiful life for yourself on the other side of benzo withdrawal and benzo tapering. I promise you, it's there for you. It's there for you. If it's there for me, it's there for you. I was hopeless at the end of my benzo journey. I was completely hopeless. I mean, I talked in a video not so long ago, I think just in the last couple of weeks, about, the suicide ideas that I had, and where, this drove me to. So, if I can do it, I truly believe that anybody can do it. I don't think that I'm a super special case. But please don't compare your journey to my journey, or your journey to anybody else's journey. Your journey is your own journey, and how you get through this is going to look a little bit different than how I got through it, or how somebody else gets through it. There's a lot of healing things that we can all do to try to get better, but different things might work for different people. And I want you to just explore that. Be open to whatever comes across your field of consciousness as far as different modalities of healing, whether that's acupuncture or meditation or exercise or qigong or whatever it might be. Just be open to different things that might help you along this path of healing, because again, we can all do it. We can all get past it. However long it takes, whatever it takes, once you get to the other side, I promise you it's going to be so worth it. And I remember just thinking, like, I can't wait till I can look back and say, I did it. I'm off of everything. And I can just breathe air, drink water, eat food, and there's nothing else that I need to put in my body today. I'm not a slave to anything, to any drug, to cigarettes, to anything. Well, coffee a little bit these days. Thank God I can drink coffee again. I can't tell you even how much I'm so grateful that I get to drink an espresso. Like, I'm so grateful, because there was a long time where I couldn't do that, and I can do that today. And you will too. You will get there. You'll get to the other side, guys. I just, from my heart to yours, this was the reason I started this channel, was to be able to try to spread hope and show you a real life. Here's my story. This is who I am. That's where I was. And here's where I am now. And if I can help anybody further along the path to get to where they want to be, I am so happy and more than willing to do that for anybody. So if there's anything that I can do, if there's any video that I can make for you guys, any suggestion that you have at all that would help, please let me know. I just want to keep building this channel and making it for us. This is not about me. This is not about Dan. This channel is about all of us on this journey together, and trying to do the best that we can to facilitate as much healing as possible. And thank you guys for all your support. Thank you guys for commenting, and I see you guys supporting each other still all the time. Donna, Jacqueline, Bob Barbarino, so many of you guys. Every time I read it, I'm like, this is it. Like, this is more of what I wanted this channel to be. And so going forward, I hope I'm feeling better in the next video. and I can talk a little bit better and I feel a little bit better instead of being all congested and head coldy and stuff. But I just want to say, keep going. Just keep going no matter where you're at today. Keep trucking, one foot in front of the other. I know it sucks sometimes. I know it's so hard. You're going to get to the other side if you just keep going. That's it. That's half the battle, is to just keep going. Just keep going. Again, if there's anything that I can do, any suggestions you guys have for another video, please let me know. And I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.